Okay, we've seen Bola Ahmed Tinubu, making plans, giving an expression that Nnamdi Kanu, any moment from now, will be finally let off the hook. Wike wife, has just been fired, and other judges that were, they're supposed to see off as regards the case. Do you think that Tinubu now has changed his mind prior to this election period? Is already planning to pardon or give Nnamdi Kanu that amnesty and pardon that he truly deserves?
We are talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's appeal. The appeal process for a lot of people who does not understand, what is actually going on. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu appeal is actually coming up, and we have seen that about 2 judges who supposed to be part of that appeal has been rescued, has been asked to step aside by Tinubu, including Susie Wike's Sussex Wike's wife has also been asked to step aside, not to be part of the judges that will take up Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's appeal. So what it means is that bailing on neutral ground, and this is a sign that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's trial has been with infiltration and all that. We don't know whether it is purely a political move ahead of what Bola Ahmed Tinubu is actually planning to do 2027 by releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But it came as a surprise that Wike's wife and one other judge who was part of that 5-man appeal or thereabout was asked to step aside by not minding the closeness of Wike and Tinubu at the end of the day. What Tinubu did was to ask them to step aside. Possibly these are people he foresee that want to use their political connection with Wike to go further to punish Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And remember too, Omotosho also came from Wike, and maybe at this point in time, because of the international pressure and money from world leaders concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu now deemed it fit that at the presentation or appearance of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at the appeal, the matter will be automatically, unconditionally struck out. So it has already triggered a kind of jubilation, after the news actually, break out. But remember, too, there was this panic about the state of health of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto, and when we learned that there was serious mix-up within the Sokoto prison, where we learned that the southern of Sokoto, the northern mafias, the caliphate themselves, used, contacted hardened criminals inside the Sokoto prison who are spying on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on daily basis, signaling that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's life might be definitely be in danger. It might be the reason why we are seeing reactions coming from different people. Move this guy away any moment from now. Move him, take him out. Because the consequences will be very unbearable if all these people that the northern criminals are using now against Nnamdi Kanu. Because when you start spying on somebody, it means, because where Nnamdi Kanu is being kept are the den of Boko Haram. Most of them have been there 100 years, suffering all manner of things. Now, they have actually contacted him, meaning that Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not actually mean well for Nnamdi Kanu in Abination. And that is why he sent him to where we are seeing hardened criminals. Now, they have mastered the terrain. The Fulani Sokoto Caliphate, who are also targeting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, have now started using, a demonic and most dangerous bandits in that Sokoto prison now to be spying on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And that triggered a certain fear in Asurok that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is becoming jittery, and they needed to facilitate the process of the appeal. And those blocks, those people who are going to be a threat, or who are going to block that process now, Wike and his baggages of illegal baggages have been pushed out from the appeal process of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It was done by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So that's why people are saying that, having gotten the information of what is happening, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being spied on by hiding criminals. Is that mean somebody has sent them to start spying on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto prison? And we are also seeing another narrative all of a sudden. The Johannes themselves that came out and said, no, grant him amnesty before it is too late. Do this, releasing. All these things are centered on what actually Bola Ahmed want to achieve 2027. Because you can see there is there's a struggle to balance his political equation between the North and the South. And for somebody who is seeking the election at the end of the day, and from what is happening now, he sees Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as an added value or a rally point, if it's actually being released, and that's going to add some level of electoral value to him. Let us see if that actually what is going to play out, and or maybe that's the reason he asked Wike's wife to move out from the being part of Nnamdi Kanu's appeal judges at the end of the day. Wike's wife and one other man, if I can remember his name, I can tell you. But I can tell you that man is also a Northerner, and who wanted to be part of that appeal process has been chased out from being part of judges who are going to see to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's appeal. But that actually signaled that Bola Ahmed Tinubu might unconditionally ask Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Suddenly you just discover that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been released from Sokoto prison and granted unconditional freedom, discharged and acquitted.
What we just said now, the Sokoto youth had in big celebration. They said if Nnamdi Kanu is the light of Africa. He said this man deserves to be released or to be taken from the Sokoto prison. Do you think that if Nnamdi Kanu is finally released, he will continue the agitation just like or go to the Sunday Go party?
Let's not be thinking towards that direction. I can tell you a few things that is going to happen. Once Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being released, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be taken out to put IPOB in order. That is the first thing you need to do. And then make necessary contact. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will stay out for some time and trying to make sure that all the collapsing structures are being put in place, because these are the people who are going to form the Biafra government. And once that structure is being put in place, every crooked ways is being strengthened, then we can now come up. But these are the things he can quickly do, given the pressure that is coming from the international community and world leaders regarding them, and recognizing Biafra as a nation. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can never go the way of Sunday Igboho. That can tell you that 100 times. IPOB has become one of the biggest movements around the world. There's no country you will go to, you will not see IPOB members relevant, significant, contributing. And that's why they told you that the IPOB members are the fourth most traveled tribe in the world, sixth most richest in the world. So you can see what actually it means that a lot of things, a lot of resources has gone into the structure of IPOB. So immediately Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being released, he's going to start talking to world leaders, and all the framework of a proper and smooth takeoff of Biafra will definitely be put in place. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not interested in oil. He would have taken it. He's not interested in vice president. He would have taken it. He was interested in an oil block. He would have taken it. These are things that was actually offered to him. So you cannot compare Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with the likes of Tompolo, and Asari Dokubo. No, but you see, everybody has become jealous of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now because he decided to take the pains, and he started to see that struggle as the only thing, only legacy you have to give to his life and to his people at the end of the day. And that has earned him, a global, how will I put it, recognition in that regard. And forever, Biafrans all over the world will never forget the IPOB leader himself, Mazi Nnamdi. Biafran government in exile and Bianca Tundojo, led by federal government delegate, they all clashed in Finland there, in Haiti over, Simon Ekpa's appeal on a possible rumored presidential pardon, But before that happened, the Finland government has already taken a decision. You know that there was a certain delegate from the United States government, led by, if I can remember his name, yes, one of the defense close ally to Donald Trump, something Johnson, that went to, he was the one that headed that U.S. delegate to Finland, and everything to an extent was actually resolved. Someone was granted leave of appeal, but that is not the center of this thing, And with all the course becoming very clear that someone is going to walk out, a free man any moment from now, and of course the sentencing, the jail sentence passed. I said because of errors and lack of evidence, because it has been stated, according to Dr. Masanga, that what actually happened there was a case of manipulation, a case, a judgment that was impeded, a judgment, that was led on the altar of bribery and corruption, oil deals, and having discovered that it can no longer, stand. Now, this government in exile, went to Finland government, and unfortunately, they discovered that Bianca and one other man, I don't know his name, but I can tell you from also that he is a Yoruba man, a federal government delegate. On hearing what the Finnish government want to do now, they now run to Finland. And I don't know what is Bianca's actual interest in this thing, and there was suspicion why they appointed you Minister of Foreign Affairs State. You thought that coming closer to the government and giving your husband, position in the struggle, and of course, Nnamdi Kanu, you should be able to tell the powers that be the truth. But unfortunately, since you became very close to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we have seen series of attacks on the legacies Ojukwu himself laid down for the freedom of his own people. So we do not know your motive, but for you to go to Finland and start arguing, there was a heavy clash between the different government delegates and, of course, federal government, representatives, led by Bianca Ojukwu. But I think to an extent, we are hearing that she was disappointed by the position taken by the authorities of the Finnish government, who are saying at this point in time that the matter has been revisited, and that is why they actually granted freedom to Simon Ekpa, pending when he is going to appear in the Finnish court. And they're also trying to tell the Nigerian delegate, that in as much as this has become a public, has come to public notice, they can take their whatever contract that was offered to Finland and declare that the Finnish ambassador to Nigeria, Senna, should be arrested and be sent to International Criminal Court for questioning. That throws a heavy panic in Aso Rock. Now everybody's panic, and this happened under Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. There's heavy panic there because the United States government are already on top of the matter. I can tell you a lot of them, Mike Arnold, Ted Cruz, Dr. Masanga, international community, delegates from United Nations agencies, human rights activists from all over the world, advocacy for emerging nations, groups in Africa are all involved in Simon Ekpa's matter now. And that is why, there's panic, the investigation is going on. The ambassador to Finnish ambassador to Nigeria is under, is placed under serious surveillance now, and for questions that she will definitely answer for misrepresenting what Finnish government actually stood up. Yes, Alexander Stubb is also having problem in that regard because he cannot claim to be innocent from what is actually going on. But he's trying to put himself out there to be a free man by standing on international existing law that empowers him to grant, amnesty, freedom, pardon to, and not possibly quash and stop further prosecution of, with compensation being put there. But we are hearing very closely that there is plan to pay a compensation to Simon Ekpa, running into billions of dollars at the end of the day. But that message is coming. And having had Simon Ekpa's second coming, we don't know what is actually going to happen. But our prayer is that the international community and the world leaders at this point in time should be able to declare because next state of Biafra before Simon Ekpa is being released, because we are hearing now about more than 17 to 20 nations now are already queuing for Simon Ekpa's freedom, understanding that there's a lot of bread and tea in Biafra land, and of course they need to support the self-acclaimed Prime Minister of the Biafran government in exile.
But do you not think the North and Asura could be shocked if the Finnish government, or do you not think Asura will feel betrayed that the Finnish government is already planning to give Simon Ekpa this freedom?
It took them by surprise, but that there are diplomatic and intelligent channels they can be tapping on to find out what is also going on. And I can tell you now that Brutai is also trying to escape, to run away from Nigeria, because the long arm of the law is also going to be extended to him, because for propagating the wrong narrative, giving the reality on ground now. You can see Malami, all of them are running, you can see Malami running from one pole to another, saying that there's no rule of law. You can see all these people. Erofai, these are the people who stood against the reality on ground. Now, this is the starting point. God is just showing them what is going to come any moment from now. So that the likes of Malami, the likes of Erofai, all of them that can't up against Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa, at the end of the day, they are going to see 99. And I'm telling you, go and mark it, they will experience 99. After Nigeria, they are going to face international criminal courts. They are going to answer for the question, for the bribery and allegation. Yes, EFCC invaded Malami's house today, and we are questioning, how did you get all these billions and billions of properties here and there? But somebody who was just agitating that Fulani should stop killing his own people, then they now tagged him. Why is it that IPOB members are not terrorists, are not sinners? Are there not IPOB in Finland? We have IPOB members in Finland. Why is the Finnish government not tagging IPOB members in Finland? They are Biafrans in Finland. They are terrorists. It tells you that Finland has questions to answer, but unfortunately, the man as president, as a top, is trying to excuse himself. Now, I do not know what people are talking about. No, the matter don't pass, Gary. I cannot stand against Donald Trump directive on Simon Ekpa. And that is the picture. So, Bianco Juku and the rest of them, they have to find their way, and report back. And that is why you are seeing several panic. They didn't see it coming, but it has come. They quickly run to go and cover up and everything, but unfortunately, it is too late. Before they even got there, like I said in my statement, on the starting of this video, there is already an American delegate sitting down in Finland. You cannot come there. That's what it means. And when they come there, you can see there was a clash. They were totally rejected. Now they are going to brief Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Brutai is not there again to shout for them. Brutai is already accusing Bola Ahmed Tinubu now, of that he's the one that's sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. You can see the confusion everywhere. And the whole thing is beginning to down on the Finnish government. Psychologically, they are going down. They have been known, we wouldn't have gotten involved. And you can see now, this thing has attracted more nations. Everybody is presenting documents because they know that Biafra is coming. And of course, there's bread and tea at the end of the day. And they need to keep behind the self-acclaimed Prime Minister and the President of the Prime Minister of of different government in exile, because anything can happen from any moment from now. But his second coming, his second appearance coming, it's going to be massive, it's going to be big. And of course, Nigeria government Asura should be ready for the second coming of Simon Ekpa. I can tell you that, he's coming not just like what he is before. He is coming with powerful nations. About 17 nations now standing for both in Africa and outside Africa, and I can tell you
But
that.
do you think if he comes out, do you think he should stay mute, or do you think he should keep, do what he was doing?
If you look at Simon Ekpa does not look like a Sunday Igboho, or does not look like Sowore, or what's it called, the man from Niger Delta, Asari Dokubo. Those men those men does not look at those men. Those guys are already eating on the table of the enemies. Simon Ekpa refused to compromise. That is why he is there. Nnamdi Kanu refused to compromise. That is how he died. In everything that breaks chicks in this country, the Igbos are pace setters. And I can give you history. If you come to the first military head of state in Nigeria, Igbo is number one. The first military coup, Igbo. The first, just name them. We are pace setters. You understand? And you can see that how you will know that God is at work. You can see the unification that is going on now in South. You can see it very clearly. That the just is not even up to 4 million people. That 75% of people in the South are Igbos. You can see it. It is ongoing. So these are realities, and we are not against any ethnic minority, because all over the world we are seeing it. We are seeing it like that all over the world. It's everywhere in the world. But what we're saying is that don't stand to understand that what is actually being played out has been rejected by the world leaders and the global community. That's uprising against the voices of resistance. And we must look at it very well. In New York today, they have scrapped anything that had to do with Islam and Sharia in New York today. And Ranima cannot come and tell us that we must cohabit. We cannot cohabit. Lebanon tried it. Today they are being attacked by Hezbollah. Why are you saying that we must cohabit with these people? What tells you Ranima that? What does he want to achieve? That is a clear-cut agenda of Ruga. And you should be very careful of Nigerian mafians compromising him. And that is what Ted Cruz and Mike Arnold is telling him. We cannot put that kind of report. We cannot coexist with these people. Countries who have tried it in the past are paying the price. Why should you put out that kind of report? Because, that's the picture of the day. About what I was saying at this point, please, whatever you're going to do, if you try to do the needful, Israel that understand the pains of the black Jews in Africa knows what to do. Either by commission or by omission, these two powerful African kings, lords, fighters, freedom fighters, liberators, agitators, Mazi, Nnamdi Kanu, and Simon Ekpa, watch what they are coming up with at the end of the day.
Will you forgive Bianca if Simon Ekpa is finally freed? Will you forgive Bianca?
Okay, we already have them that those Biafras who are in Nigerian government now will not have any role to play when Biafra government takes off. None of them who have participated, and the likes of those who have participated in whatever politician they are in Nigeria, does not have any space. Their children does not have any space. They can be Biafra members. They can share the same equality with everybody. But we don't want contamination. These people need to be purged. A lot of things are in their DNA. We don't need it to kickstart Biafra. I don't have any personal hatred for Bianca. If Biafra comes, Bianca knows at the end of the day where his place is already reserved for him. Thank you.